During my life, I have rarely been truly alone, maybe taking tests at school or running cross country or on my uncle's tractor cultivating corn. But I'm impressed with people who've achieved great things largely on their own. Washington commanding the Continental Army, Lincoln guiding the Civil War, Emerson in his laboratory, Edison rather in his laboratory. Not me. I have consistently been surrounded by others, usually smarter, often more experienced, always becoming friends. In business, I chose partners with skills that exceeded mine, proof of which has been their stunning success after I left. As governor, my team helped craft the health plan that insured nearly every citizen in Massachusetts. My wingman, Bob White, counseled me in business, the Olympics, and politics. My counselor, Beth Myers, advised and managed multiple campaigns and administrations. Spencer Zwick financed and helped guide almost every one of my endeavors. My Senate chiefs of staff, Matt Waldrop and Liz Johnson, built and brilliantly led an exceptional team, and with our policy directors, Chris Barkley and Stephen Newton, crafted and negotiated more legislation that became law than could possibly have been expected for a freshman senator. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the names of my excellent current and former staff members be included in the record as submitted.
Without objection.
So my life's work has been a group affair. At its center is my wife, Ann. She is my most trusted advisor, my indefatigable ally, the love of my life for 54 married years. Our 5 sons are just as loyal and are the source of profound pride, joy, and 25 grandchildren. During my first months in the Senate, I was mostly on my own and thus mostly unproductive. And then Lisa Murkowski invited 5 Democrats to join with 5 Republicans in her home for takeout dinner. With COVID then active, we were spaced far apart, with windows open despite the winter cold. Our conjecture on how to bridge the impasse between the President and Congress on COVID relief led us over the next several weeks to dig in, negotiate, draft, and eventually see our work become the basis of law. I was fortunate to also be a part of what this team worked on that followed: the bipartisan infrastructure law, Electoral Count Act reform, gun safety legislation, marriage legislation that included religious protections. Our group was Rob Portman, Kirsten Sinema, Susan Collins, Joe Manchin, Mark Warner, John Tester, Bill Cassidy, Jeanne Shaheen, and Lisa Murkowski. We'd each come to Washington to enact law that would help people, and that's just what we did. We accomplished together what we could have never done alone. So I will leave this chamber with a sense of achievement, but in truth, I will also leave with the recognition that I did not achieve everything I'd hoped. Among other things, the scourge of partisan politics has frustrated repeated efforts to stabilize our national debt. Without the burden of the interest on that debt, we would be able to spend 3 times as much as we do on military procurement, 3 times as many aircraft, 3 times as many ships, 3 times as many drones, spacecraft, cyber defenses, or alternatively, we could spend double the amount we spend on Social Security benefits every month. Our national credit card is almost maxed out, and America risks becoming debt poor. Now, my biggest surprise in the Senate has been how much I enjoy the other senators on both sides of the aisle. And the truth is that while I may not miss the Senate itself terribly much, the 10-minute votes that last an hour, the unknowable schedule of votes, the myriad meaningless votes, the absurd passion about inconsequential votes, I will very much miss you, my fellow senators. For among you are some brilliant, some entertaining, some kind and generous, and all patriotic. It's an honor to have been able to serve with you. It's also been an honor to represent the people of Utah, the state of my family heritage. What sets Utah apart is not just its beauty and vibrant economy, it is the admirable character of its people. Now, it's customary to end remarks with these words: God bless America. That has never seemed jarring or out of place to me, because Americans have always been fundamentally good. From our earliest days, we have rushed to help neighbors in need, as de Tocqueville noted. We welcomed the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. We've respected different faiths, as our first president confirmed to Muslims and Jews. United we stand is a fitting refrain. As the leader of the free world, our sons and daughters have fought time and again for liberty, and our treasure has buoyed freedom fighters around the globe. Like all people, we've made mistakes, some grievous, but often our mistakes have come from misguided understanding. God has blessed America because America is good. There are some today who would tear at our unity, who would replace love with hate, who deride our foundation of virtue, or who debase the values upon which the blessings of heaven depend. Now, I've been in public service for 25 years. I have learned that politics alone cannot measure up to the challenges we face. A country's character is a reflection not just of its elected officials, but also of its people. I leave Washington to return to be one among them, and hope to be a voice of unity and virtue. For it is only if the American people merit his benevolence that God will continue to bless America. May he do so, is my prayer.